Hey everybody, welcome back to Small Town Johnstown Podcast. I am your host, Nick, with my beautiful co-host.
Jenny.
And we're here today with Brad, sorry.
Brad.
He's
Sorry.
bad with names.
He's rad, that's
That,
Brad, that's rad.
believe me, I've been called a lot worse. Trust me.
And you own Lemon Graphics.
Lemonhead.
Lemonhead Graphics,
Lemonhead
I'm sorry.
Graphics, yeah.
I'm
He's
sorry.
got to write all over his shirt and his hat. Come on.
I know, I just had to look up 2 inches.
Well, he was just sitting on stuff before we started, so he may not be focusing very well.
So how long have you been running Lemonhead Graphics for?
5 years. 5 years as of last week was our 5 year anniversary.
Congratulations. What kind of graphics do you guys do?
Probably be easier if I told you what I didn't do.
Okay, what kind of graphics do you guys do?
we do a wide range of things.
Anything and everything except.
Yeah, we do vehicle graphics, business signage, windows, t-shirts, hats, any type of apparel. I have been asked to put graphics on some pretty strange things.
Somebody's dog.
Well, maybe now, but no, not yet. No, I've put graphics on plates,
Oh,
kind of memory, type things.
Yeah.
Water bottles, cups, koozies. Pretty much the easiest way I can usually explain it is if vinyl graphic will stick to it, we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
So, and then we do other things too. We do vinyl banners. We do cloth banners. I don't know how much she wants out right now, but there's a particular customer that I just did a pretty large cloth wrinkle-free banner for
Yeah.
their business. So yeah, we do a wide variety of things. A lot of the stuff in-house. I've been lucky enough over the last couple of years that I've been able to partner with a business that allows me to offer certain products and services that I'm not physically set up to do in my shop,
Mm-hmm.
but I can go through them, get a really good deal, quick turnaround. So there's not a lot of waiting for the customer, stuff like that. So
Yeah. So do you usually design stuff for people, or how often do people come to you? I know we were talking a little bit before, like with their own design, and then you have to rework it.
I get a lot of it is people who have designs they already like, either something they themselves designed on like Canva,
Yeah.
or even like Vistaprint or something like that. They've
Yeah.
designed it themselves. Those are usually pretty good. Those are, pretty easy to work with
Yeah.
because they usually save in a file type that makes it easy for me to do what I need to do. I do get people who will just take their phone and take a picture of something and then want me to make it into a t-shirt, and I have to,
Yeah.
explain to them that, when I blow it up to say 14 inches to go on a shirt, all those nice pretty lines in that design now look like you're looking through them through water. But yeah, I get a lot that people supply their own designs, their own ideas. My favorite part, believe it or not, a lot of people think I'm weird for liking this. My favorite thing is when somebody will call me and say, "Okay, I'm starting a business. This is the business name. This is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what I want, but I need a logo."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my favorite because it not only challenges me to come up with something,
Mm-hmm.
but it lets me be super creative and present more than just one singular option to a customer. Like if I have a customer that comes to me and this is what I want, this is the colors I want, this is everything I want it to do, everything I want it to say, no problem, you got it. But that limits me, and it also limits them in a way
Mm-hmm.
because yes, they have their vision, but because of that, that's what I'm going to give them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to necessarily present other options
Yeah.
that then they look at it and think, "Oh, I like it,"
Yeah.
you know,
You
or
lose that creative freedom to improve it.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So I love it when people basically say, "Business name, this is what we do. I have no clue, but I need something,"
Mm-hmm.
because I'll make up 6 or 7 different logos, and sometimes they pick one particular one, they love it. Sometimes they don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Or a lot of the times, what happens is we'll take elements from 4 or 5 out of them
Mm-hmm.
and blend them into one. And it kind of gets the customer involved with that design and creative aspect also. And what I love is people when they say, "I have no creativity," then we start going back and forth with each other and they start coming up with these ideas.
Yeah.
And you can almost, whether it's on the phone, in person, or through messaging, you can almost sense their excitement,
Yeah.
because they're like, "Oh my God, I'm helping design this,"
Mm-hmm.
and I love that. I love I don't know. I love making people happy. I love giving them what they want.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you kind of inch them along the way to get them there to where they need to be.
yeah, like I always tell everybody, I'm always going to make suggestions. I'm always going to offer guidance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, this is something you want. It's for your business, or not even for a business. You know, I do personal stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like I only do for businesses. If Joe Blow down the street wants some graphics done on his truck, I do them. So I always offer guidance. I always offer suggestions, but I always tell everybody you have the absolute right to tell me shut up.
Yeah, it's
You
your
know what
load.
I mean?
It's what you-
Yeah,
Exactly.
you might make it better, but to them, it's like not what they originally wanted.
And I have had that happen. I have put some certain logos and graphics out there that I have done for people that when I show them to other people, my comment is usually ignore the subject matter or
Yeah.
just, you know, look at the workmanship.
Mm-hmm.
I've had multiple customers send me images that their children have drawn
Okay.
and they want it exact.
All right.
That's tough.
Which I'm cool with that. I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. The only thing that I'm not crazy about is when I make it exact and the lines are crooked and wavy. And
Yeah.
people who don't know the backstory are gonna be like, "That dude's drunk. Like he can't design stuff."
he
without
he
that
owns
stuff-
his own business.
Right, exactly. So you know, a lot of the times if I show something like that, I always give a backstory.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
explain
to say,
yourself.
"Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something a 5-year-old drew."
Was Klein's kid.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, like, I did one for a company that it was a mechanical company, and their 7-year-old daughter drew, you know, wrenches and gears and cool looking. Great concept,
Probably.
actually. Like,
Yeah.
she's got.
Probably a better artist than me already.
Well, I mean, she's got a good path ahead of her if she sticks with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a typical 7-year-old drawing.
Yeah.
Not very clean, not very. So I redesigned the logo for the guy and made it crisp and clean and perfect,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that that wasn't what he wanted. He
Oh.
wanted it to look like his
Yeah.
daughter's drawing. So I went back in, redid it, no problem at all.
So what has been some of whether you created other than your own logo been some of the some of your favorite logos or things that you have created?
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm going to throw a little shout out here also.
Go right ahead.
One of
That's
my
what we do.
one of my customers, he's also a really good friend. He sends me a ton of work. I would say right now, one of my most favorite things I've done, I'm going to slaughter his last name here, but Clark
Kent?
Kammerer.
No.
Clark Kammerer. He owns KB Blacktop and KB Rust Proofing. He sends me tons of work, not just from himself. He's constantly referring people. He's one of these guys, he knows what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
When he calls me and says, "Hey, I just bought a new truck. This is what I want. This is what we're going to do."
Mhm.
He gives me his ideas, but then he lets me run with it.
Yeah.
He gives me basically free, you know, creative freedom to do what I want. I just recently did 3 trucks for him that have his KB logo,
Mm-hmm.
you know, pretty big on the door, but then there's all these stripes
Okay.
and different stuff that I actually kind of got the idea from, I was telling you before
Yeah.
we got started, that I've done a lot of houseboats. Well, houseboats have a lot of those type of graphics. They're stripes, they're curves, swirls. What I actually did was I took a boat that I had previously done and altered some of the stripes
Yeah.
Okay.
to go onto his truck. And we did stripes from the headlights all the way back to the taillights.
Oh wow.
You know, up across some of the windows, and that was probably one of the jobs recently that I enjoyed doing the most, because it, you know, it was creative, but it also challenged me, because some of the curves I had to make sure were sized exactly
Yeah.
right or curved a particular way so it went with the body line of the truck. Clark's a good one. Like he challenges me. He really does.
I got something new for you today.
That's kind of exactly what he says. I think he kind of gets a kick out of testing to see
Yeah,
how
your
far he
ability.
can push me. You know, because he's thrown out some pretty crazy ideas to me, and
Probably
we've always got together on it and made
Yeah.
it work out, you know, for him and me. So it's not even like the money aspect of the houseboats, because they're expensive when you get something like that done.
Yeah.
But it's a big job, so I'm on it for a long time. It's a lot of space to work with,
Yeah.
so you can get really
canvas.
creative. Yeah. I've done a couple campers, one in particular. The gentleman wanted the factory graphics removed.
Okay.
He wanted me to, not colors, but as far as shapes, he wanted me to 100% match the factory graphics. And he, any type of decal, sticker, whatever, you peel it off. There's always a color difference of whatever it was on.
Yeah.
He didn't want to see
The
any
color.
line from the color difference.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I had to be, pretty precise with everything. Fortunately, I got it done for him. He was happy enough. He's referred people.
Yeah.
I love, I don't know, like I'm kind of rambling on. I know you asked me like what my favorite thing is.
Hey, go on.
It's
man.
kind of hard to answer that.
Yeah.
Everything I do,
Such a wide scope of
Yeah.
things.
yeah, and like everything I do eventually becomes my favorite thing I've done.
But
Because
you're getting better though.
well, exactly, and it's just the designing and working with the people. Like I would say, if anything, that's my favorite part is working with the customer and meeting new people.
Do you ever go back and look at your old work? Maybe I was drunk when I made that.
Not too long ago, I was looking back through a lot of my customer files, and I was looking at some different things that I had done up.
Yeah.
That either I presented to customers and they were like, nah, I don't really like it. Let's go a different route. Some people took it and were happy with it. And, I was looking at them and I'm like, 5 years makes a difference.
Yeah.
I definitely was not inexperienced when I started this.
Yeah.
But I, not saying I'm a pro or nothing like that now, but I definitely am more seasoned, especially over the last 5 years. Now that it's the primary focus for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely look back at certain things and maybe wasn't my best. Maybe wasn't my best work, but I mean, you have that in everything.
Yeah. I mean, we go back and look at our first, and it was bad.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, everybody's
mics
got
are
to
bad.
start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
not every.
graphics are always evolving too. Some things that were very popular way back when totally outdated and nobody uses that kind of design anymore now.
Absolutely. Even the programs, just over the last 5 years have advanced so much.
Yeah.
Let's say 10 years ago, primarily what I do, I refer to as old school graphics.
Yeah.
It's all cut vinyl, so the individual colors are all cut into their separate shapes
Yeah.
and images, and then layered to kind of build the image, almost like a puzzle. 10, 15 years ago, that was it, man. Like if you did that, you were the man. And then like wraps started coming.
Yeah.
And then printing started coming where you print on the vinyl. So instead of building that image layer by layer on whatever you're doing, you just got one solid piece of vinyl with the image printed. You lay it down, you put it on, not taking anything away from that work. It's awesome. But I've started noticing now slowly I'm getting more and more customers starting to call me. And the first things they say is, I don't want a wrap.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, like with anything, like it has its ebbs and flows. We went from cut vinyl being the thing to wraps coming in. Now it's kind of slowly starting to move its way back to the old school cut vinyl.
Okay.
A lot of that is people's taste. A lot of it, quite honestly, is pricing. I gave an estimate just the other day. It was just a ballpark over the phone estimate. A gentleman wanted an SUV color change wrapped. It's currently silver. He wants it like a candy apple red. You're talking thousands of dollars, depending on the size of the vehicle and the depth of the work involved. Dollar figure that you throw out to people gets them like, well, let's do this instead.
Yeah.
There's people out there that they don't care. They'll spend whatever it is to get what they want. And yes, those are my favorite customers. But at the same time, I always try to give every customer I talk to options as far as pricing goes. Because to me, it doesn't matter if you make $10 an hour or if you make $1,000 an hour. Everybody should be able to have the opportunity to not have to spend tons of money just because they have tons of money. Like I always say, rich people are rich for a reason. They don't just waste their money.
Willy-nilly spend.
Yeah, they're the biggest penny pinchers for
Exactly.
sure.
So, I always try to give everybody price options that, might work within their budget or, and it's backfired on me. I gave one particular customer a couple different pricing options and they thought I was insinuating they couldn't afford certain
Oh,
things.
yeah.
And
I'm like,
so
I'm like, actually, it's 30,000.
well, and honestly, like they're still a customer of mine today. I don't give them options no more. This is your price. This is
Yeah.
what you're paying.
As low as I can go.
Right. Yeah. So
I would have been opposite. Oh, this is as high as I can go.
Right, yeah,
You want
exactly.
flex? Go ahead.
right. Yeah. Yeah. You want to give the money away? I'll take it. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't complaining.
So, what is your design process? Walk me through how you start with the design, or if a customer comes to you with something, and depending on what it is.
Well, the first step would be a Red Bull. You know, like I told you guys before we started, you know,
Yeah.
people call it Red Bull. I call it my emotional support beverage. No, honestly, like one of the biggest things I do before I start anything, once I talk to the customer, if they already have like a Facebook page set up or a website, if they're already an established business or whatever, I do as much research as I can. And I'm not just looking to see what other logos they've posted.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see, like, okay, they posted 10 different images of logos that maybe they've created themselves or they found. What colors are in common in those logos? Because if somebody's posting something and they have 10 different photos and there's a lot of orange in it,
Yeah.
they like orange.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of research. I try to see if I can kind of figure out what their like what type of colors they like, what type of themes they like.
What they're kind of going for. With.
Yeah, like what kind of person they are as far as that type of stuff. And then another thing I honestly do is I will, you know, let's say somebody wants a logo for a bar. I'll get online, I'll jump on Google, and I will just type in bar logo ideas. And I never find one logo and like, oh, I'm just gonna copy that.
Yeah.
I take multiple images of different logo
Inspiration.
options. Yeah, exactly. And I might take little elements of this, that, and the other and blend them together. You know, once I do the research, once I kind of get a feel for, you know, what the customer likes, what they don't like, both from talking to them, but also Facebook stalking them if need be. You know, then I build from there. And I will come up with one or two or three different options as far as a logo or a design on their truck or whatever it might be. And then one of my biggest tools that I use for designing is my wife.
Women are very creative.
Well, mine not so much. However, she's very honest with me.
Oh, yeah.
We like brutally honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before I send 90% of the time, before I send a final design to a customer, I'll show it to my wife.
Yeah.
And I'll get her thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And she is good at times of saying, well, you know, I don't like this. Maybe try that. So then what I'll do is I'll keep what I originally had.
Yeah.
But then I'll make another one with her suggestion.
That's who wins, and then you just keep a tally.
Basically, yes, which I usually win.
You were wrong.
Yeah. Just last night, actually, I said my design and then hers with the design with her suggestions, and the customer chose my original design. But that's another
Do you
story.
tell the customer why you send them to? Just kind of go, which one do you like better? Just so I know.
You know, I never do that. I just say, here's some options.
Yeah.
You know, the design process is kind of different for everybody as far as like for every customer. It depends on the job. If I have a customer has a camper and he wants me to match the graphics, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of, it's just, okay, sit down, make these shapes. Customer wants a 100% complete custom logo. And they've thrown out some maybe color options or something like that. Then it's do some research, find some other logos in that field, take elements here and there, kind of build from it. I have already designed complete logos, and before the customer's even seen them, I've scrapped them and just started back over.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good idea of what people are going to like. So if I do something and I absolutely hate it, I kind of already know the customer's not going to like it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of throw it out and start over again. Yeah, I mean, that's not really a detailed answer, but it's kind of like, it's kind of different for every situation.
Yeah, because
how you handle
you have
it.
different, I'm sure a bike's different than a boat or
Absolutely,
a house
yeah.
logo and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So, and then, you know, and you get some people, I want a logo, but I just want it simple. I mean, I've had people say, I want a logo, I just want one color, simple, easy. I've had other people that, like, when I'm done, I've used 300 different colors and gradients and shadings and shadows and
Yeah.
highlights and all the tricks that I've learned over the years and all the programs I use. So yeah, it's kind of different with the only thing that really stays the same is the research that I try to do. You can kind of look at a person's Facebook page, whether it's their business page or their personal one, and you kind of you can tell what things they like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe they like maybe they're always wearing a black shirt, or maybe they're always wearing a purple shirt, or they've got stuff with purple in it, or they've got purple. A big tell is if you can find a picture of their car. Not trying to say anything, not trying to be
He's
rude.
judging.
Typically, women.
Yeah.
If you find their picture of their car, or if you're meeting with them and you look at their car, and they have little pink trim in their interior or whatever color, yellow, that's usually a pretty good sign their color is that color. Yellow, is that color. Yeah. So it's just kind of like trying to pick up little hints.
Can be very aware
in there. Yeah, because there's a lot of times, like, if you ask somebody, what's your favorite color?
Like teal or turquoise.
Okay, what's your favorite color?
Green. Simple as that.
Green. Okay, so you guys are pretty simple.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you'll ask somebody, like, what's your favorite color? And they're like, I like pink, but I kind of like green. But they don't realize if they themselves would turn and say, look at their wardrobe, their clothes, they're going to realize, okay, your favorite color is blue. You're saying pink, green, whatever. Your favorite color is blue because you've got 300 blue shirts.
You're in denial.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of, I don't know. My wife teases me all the time and tells me that I remind her of a character from, like, Criminal Minds. Not the murderer, but, like, the way I read people. And I can kind of get an idea for things they like, things they don't like, stuff like that. So
yeah, you just pick up details very easily. And I'm sure.
Mostly people's favorite colors.
Mostly people's favorite colors.
Yeah, color, definitely is an easy thing to tell. What type of stuff they wear. As far as, like, imagery on their shirts and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I can tell you what your favorite food is, what your favorite color is, what your favorite drink is. If I meet you enough, talk to you enough, even Facebook stalk you enough, I can say, okay, she's kind of, a gothy chick. Or she likes heavy metal, or she likes hip hop. Just because, you might be wearing a shirt one day that says, AC/DC.
Yeah.
Or Metallica, or Dr. Dre, or Snoop Dogg, or whatever.
Hold up, I've talked to people that wore their shirts. I'm like, so name me a couple of the songs, like the music. Like, no, I just like the shirt. I'm like, okay.
That's an ongoing trend for a while. You like this band? Name 3 songs.
Red.
But you still get a sense of their style from, like, what they wear and what they post, and you kind of get a sense of their personality.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that does it sounds strange, but that goes a long way into trying to design something for somebody.
Yeah, it makes it easier for you.
Yeah, it does, because at least I know if I'm designing stereotypical, most people would think, like, if you're designing something for a woman, pink and puppies and flowers.
Hey, I like
puppies.
That sounds like me.
Oh, look, I love puppies. Don't get me wrong. I love
puppies.
I love all animals. I love all puppies. But anyway, that's another story too. Pink, flowers, puppies, kittens. That's not always true of every female out there. And again, heavy metal, rock and roll, beer, not typical of every guy out there. Trucks, right? Yeah. So I try to learn as much as I can about someone. I don't always get it right. I miss it quite often, but I'm just close enough that we're able to put together what somebody wants. And so
I know I can tell you. If you ever get a rap for a Jeep, it's probably a woman.
They love their colorful Jeeps. If I had a Jeep, I would have a pink for sure.
3. I've not done them. I've given estimates on 3 Jeeps, and they've all been for women.
I don't see much men with Jeeps, or at least around here. I feel like it's always been chicks.
There's room in the car market to have more colorful options. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not a Jeep person, but hey, be on you.
So what kind of things do you design other than, boats and cars and logos and stuff like that?
pretty much whatever anybody asks me to do. I have, outside of the typical logos and graphics for on vehicles, I've designed menus,
Oh,
That's cool.
that's cool.
I
flyers.
didn't think about that.
Yeah, I
But
would not think about
a
that.
lot of design goes into menus.
Yeah, yeah. I've designed menus. I've designed pamphlets.
Are you a big Papyrus fan?
Different things. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like whatever you can think of that could need design work done. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same process. You still have to hit what the customer's looking for, whether it would be a menu, fonts, like different fonts. A lot of people don't think about it. There's a lot of fonts out there that get used a lot.
Yeah, you get too used to graphic design, and then you're like, I know what that is.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of fonts I can look at and know what the name of them are just by looking at them.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because they are so overused.
Yeah.
That it gets boring after a while.
Like Papyrus.
So stuff like that, like, if you're designing a menu and, you look at the menus they have now. If they want something new, don't use the same font.
Yeah. I feel like if you go to a fancy Italian restaurant, it's all just kind of the same font.
Yeah, it is.
Some like rustic type thing.
So he knows the names of all of them.
Is it just Italian menu fonts? Is that
No, actually, most of the time it's a Times Roman bold is what they use.
Yeah. Do you look at menus and go like, "Oh, I definitely could have done better here"? Or
I do that with everything.
Yeah.
Everything I look at, I think, well, I could have done this, or I would have done that, or I would have changed this. Even like I'll look at something and I like it. I really like the way it looks. But at the same time, I'm like, I wonder what it would have looked like if you had done this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that with
Just
everything.
always a critic.
Yes, exactly.
That's
I
me
am.
with food, so. Yeah.
I didn't get this way by sipping water and jogging. I can tell you that much.
Drinking veggie juice.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I just lost where we were at there.
My bad. I have that.
That's all right. That's fine.
She started thinking about food, and he was like, "Dang."
Yeah, exactly. You said food. I'm like, where?
Steaks.
So while we're still maybe on the topic,
Yeah.
what is some of your favorite things to design and some of your least favorite things?
That's a good question.
It is a very good question. As weird as it's going to sound, my favorite thing to design is how can I word this correctly? My favorite thing to design is anything feminine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's simply because people look at me and they don't expect
Yeah.
that I'm going to have the eye to come up with something very feminine. Like I just met with a customer today, starting the process of doing a logo up for her nail business. And that's the type of stuff I really like.
Yeah.
Because people look at me and they're like, yeah, man, he could really design me a really cool skull graphic with lightning and this and that and the other for my truck.
Grim Reaper.
Yeah, Grim Reaper and tombstones and everything else. And then somebody might look at me and be like, well, he ain't going to design nothing for a hair salon. Yeah, well, that's my favorite thing to do.
That's cool though.
Do you go and get your nails done afterwards?
Oh, yeah. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? They're all cracked. And, yeah. So.
Why do you think that is? Just because you didn't get to do that as much the first few years of your life? Or just you wouldn't expect that from you? Or why do you think
I think what it is I love doing things people think I can't do. And I love when I surprise people when they think that like I'm not going to be able to hit certain things in a design because it might be a little too feminine or something like that. And cutesy stuff. I love doing cutesy stuff. I designed a logo for a company. It was a chicken farm.
Okay.
And
Chicken farm. Interesting.
well,
You wouldn't
the
think?
name of the farm was Finland's Clucking Farms.
Okay.
I like
And
that.
I designed
that.
a logo for it, and it is a cartoon chicken wearing a chef's hat
Clucking.
with a plate full of chicken.
That's great.
Hey.
And it's very cartoony and very cute. That's the kind of stuff I love doing because I can have fun with it. I can kind of get silly with it and do different things. Things I hate designing,
Or the Grim Reapers.
Well, honestly,
He's
like,
just a very feminine guy. What's wrong with that?
yeah,
Likes his puppies and flowers and jeeps
that's
and
right.
kittens.
No, I honestly like saying stuff I hate designing is a difficult question to answer because I don't think there really is anything I specifically hate designing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are things that I ain't crazy about, like, if somebody gets a hold of me, like in the racing community, and they do want a wrap design for their race car. Those are, I don't hate doing them, but they're kind of a pain in the butt.
I've seen the process, and it seems like it's a pain.
It is. It's a long, very long process. You have to make sure everything's sized right. Like you have to be pretty specific with a lot of stuff. And like there's companies out there that's what they do. So they have a little bit more advanced tools than I do.
Yeah.
They have schematics and diagrams and measurements and pre-programmed and everything.
A little different. Well, I have two. So one, I want to ask, and don't worry, I'm not going to go off on a sports tangent. Are you a sports guy at all? Did you do sports?
I did do sports when I was in school. Not so much. There's really only two, I guess if you can consider one. There's really only two sports that I'm kind of into right now.
Yeah.
One I do is bowling.
Okay.
I just recently got back into bowling. It's something that I wanted to do for a chance to get out at least once a week, and I do it with my aunt.
Yeah, tell me about that. You're in the bowling league and everything.
Yes, yeah. And then I'm a huge over the borderline Formula One fan.
Oh, I'm watching Driving to Success on Netflix.
Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite
Yes.
shows. It's very good.
When I say I am really overboard with that,
Yeah.
this weekend kicks off the season.
Yeah. Oh,
They are in
I'm
Australia.
so excited to see where Lewis Hamilton does for Ferrari.
For Ferrari, yes. I am a Red Bull fan. I am
Okay,
a
so you're a
Max
Max
Verstappen fan.
Verstappen. He is the GOAT.
But I am not your typical Max Verstappen fan.
Okay.
I don't hate Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest.
Yeah,
He
he's
is.
the
I
greatest.
mean,
Yeah.
he's got 7 championships. Everybody says it should be 8. Quit crying. I am kind of excited to see what he does in
Yeah.
Ferrari this year also. But like they're in Australia this weekend. The race is on at 1:00 in the morning. I will take a nap and stay up to watch that race.
That's when you start doing that graphic design.
Exactly.
The race is on.
I have watched Formula One now for about 6 years,
Yeah.
and I have not missed a single practice, qualifying, or race live yet.
Okay. Wow.
I stay up. I go to bed early so I can get up early. Doesn't matter to me. I will not miss it. So those are my two sports. High school, I played football. I played basketball. I was on a wrestling team. I was a football fan for a long time. It has nothing to do with any politics or any of that crap because I just don't get into politics.
Yeah.
But over the last several years, I've just kind of like gone
It's
away from
fizzled
football.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, it doesn't help when you're a fan of a team that isn't liked in this area. So that made it easier to kind of step away too. So shout out to my Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, that's
Kind of brutal, I know. But so that's my two sports: bowling and F1.
Yeah. The reason I asked that is because you said that you like when somebody challenges you or you do something they don't expect you to do. That's usually a sports person's kind of mentality, is they like to prove people wrong.
Yes.
So
I agree.
that's where I was like, oh, this guy's definitely some type of a sports person.
Yes.
It's definitely coming from like that kind of background because I'm like that. When somebody, I can not want to do anything, but if somebody tells me that I can't do it, I'm like, oh, okay, well now guess what? I want to do it now.
Start telling you that now.
Yeah, just start doubting.
Yeah,
me.
now look, you can't unload that dishwasher. There's no way.
In 10 minutes? No. I'll be like, oh, all right.
Right, yeah, see, you done messed up now,
Thanks for
buddy.
that tip there,
You're
Nicholas.
welcome. And second, I see you have a lot of tattoos on you. So are you, as a creative person,
Where'd they come from?
yeah, whoa, are those
Never
fake
seen that
sleeves?
before in my life.
Yeah, when I get home, I just wanted to look cool for this. When I get home, a little bit of,
Yeah.
Noxema.
Well,
So
some
take that
people
right
wear
off.
like it's like a sleeve, like a
Yeah, like the
shirt
compression
sleeve.
sleeve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compression sleeve. But so when you go for tattoos, do you do design or do you like to be like, hey, I have an idea, let me
There is
talk with the artist go crazy?
Out of the one or two, I have my
I
business.
do see your
logo
business.
there.
I love that.
Out of the
I should get ours.
out of the one or two tattoos that I have,
Yeah, that's the
there's
one.
only one that I did not design myself.
Okay.
The original tattoo I did design myself. However, the guy I go to, shout out to Jimbo at Get Her Done Tattoos.
Nice.
Also,
nice
Galla,
name.
Galla Ink Tattoos, because he just moved into the Galleria Mall.
A lot of people moving in there recently.
Yes, there is a lot of people moving in there. But shout out to Jimbo. He did a cover up on a lion I had up here on my arm.
Yeah.
He kept the main basic design. All he covered up was the lion with a different lion.
Okay.
And his lion, I mean, I don't know if it's even going to show up. His
That's really
his
cool.
lion is phenomenal. That lion is the only thing out of my tattoos. I have one on my leg also that I did not design. Every one of these, for my son, my sister, my mom, my dad. Unfortunately, I've lost all of them that I just mentioned.
I'm sorry about
My niece, she's young, she's good. My nephew, I designed those. Of course, I designed my business logo. Yeah, that's everything I have was designed by me. And
Yeah.
nothing I have on me is on me without a purpose.
Okay.
Everything I have does actually mean something. Like I had the memorial for my son. Unfortunately, we lost. He was stillborn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My mom I lost in 2019 to bladder cancer. My dad I lost in 2022 on my birthday to prostate cancer. My sister I just lost last year to lung cancer. So that that's the meanings for those. The cupcake. Not too many guys walking around with a cupcake tattoo.
Yeah, it's because you love feminine designs.
Exactly. That's from my niece Heather. She does baking. The deer skull, the European deer mount.
Okay.
My nephew's a hunter. He actually makes those.
Oh.
Tinkerbell, that's from my mom. The flames with the faces. When I was younger and not necessarily making all the right decisions in life, both my grandparents were ordained ministers.
Yeah.
And I was young. I was maybe 12, 13 years old. We had lived in Maryland at the time. We come up here to visit. And I was acting up like I shouldn't have been while I was at my grandparents' house. And my grandmother, greatest woman ever, grabbed me by my ear and dragged me in the house and read me the riot act. And I'll never forget her words to me was, if you don't straighten yourself out, you're going to end up just another soul burning in hell.
Okay.
So the flames and all the faces, like the souls, that's to represent where I could have ended up had I not
changed your path.
Yeah, changed my path, reined myself in a little bit. I have a tattoo on my right calf, kind of in a joking manner, but I've always been known in my family as the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the family that didn't finish school.
Okay.
I'm the only one in the family that's nothing recent, nothing within the last 25 years at least. But, I'm the only one in the family that ever, had the cop show up at the house because I was fighting or because of something else was going on. So I've always kind of like been the little black sheep of the family. So I do have that tattooed on me. Everything was designed by me to answer your initial question. And everything has a meaning.
Everybody's got to have that black sheep in the family. It's what keeps the family interesting. Gives them something
Absolutely.
to talk about.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And if they're talking about me, they're leaving someone else alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And I like that you kept the family together and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. About 3 years ago, this arm didn't have a sleeve. It was just this upper tattoo.
Yeah.
And I made up my mind then that that's what was going to be done. It was going to be all family. And the business logo isn't actually just average. That represents me.
Yeah.
And then I went against something I said I would never do. You always hear the stories. A guy or a woman gets their significant other's name or something tattooed on them.
Yeah.
And everything goes to crap from there. Me and my wife have been together. I have no idea. We got married in 2008 and we were together for 15 years before that.
Oh, yeah.
We've been together since I was 14, basically.
So 31 years you guys been together.
Yeah, somewhere around there. A little over a year ago, I made the decision to get her initials.
Yeah, Val. I see.
Vera, Ann, and then of course Lemonovich. Kind of got them mixed in there, so they're there, but they're
not
kind
noticeable.
of subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I tease her and tell her at least if anything happens, I can just tell people it stands for victory above loss.
That works.
So
What could JRS stand for?
Well,
just run screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Oh no.
just run screaming.
So I guess my next question would just kind of be, we talked a little bit about before we started, but how you got started into graphic design and what made you really take the jump to start your own business.
Well, in January of 2020, right before COVID hit and started going nuts, I was working for a company. It was a newspaper. I was working as an outside sales rep. Newspaper, the newspaper business isn't what it used to be. My sales weren't great like they used to be, and the company made a decision, which I supported at the time, and I still do, that they needed to cut back. One of their cutbacks was me. My wife not only worked at the same company at the time, but she was the editing manager.
Yeah.
So my wife laid me off in January of 2020.
Jenny, if you lay me off, I know, I swear.
I could. I have the power.
And I went home, did the whole unemployment thing. For whatever reason, it was taking forever to get anywhere with that. I was looking for jobs. In my spare time, I had helped out with doing some graphic work for the paper that I was at. I've done graphic and art all my life. I started focusing on it more while I was off work. And at the time I raced, and I was putting together my design for my race car to send to another guy who was in this line of work to have him make everything. And I thought to myself, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm designing everything myself, and then I'm going to pay this other guy $1,000 to make everything.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore. So I made the decision. Like the next morning, just I don't know if it was fate or what it was, but I had found out that my unemployment finally went through. I was getting my unemployment, including all the back pay that I was owed.
Yeah.
So I made the decision there. I used some of that money to buy my first vinyl cutter.
Yeah, an investment.
Yes, just a small little machine. My original plan was make my own race car graphics. That was it. I didn't really plan anything else. Looking for a job wasn't going well, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
You weren't getting a job anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah.
So right before the end of February, my wife came home from work one day. She was still working. I told her, I said, I had told her I was going to take some time, kind of get used to running the machine and making sure I could handle it. Didn't take long for me to get used to it, and I told her, I said, I'm going to start my own business. I'm done working for other people. I'm done making other people rich. As supportive as my wife is, and as much as she lets me get away with, this is one of the only times she ever questioned me, and she said, "Do you really want to start a business during a pandemic?"
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's March of 2020. COVID's in full effect.
Yeah.
The world's going wacko. And I told her, if I start it now and I make it, I know I'm doing it right. If I start it now and I fail, so be it.
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago last week, that I made that decision.
You should have told her, yeah, designs for mask.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Saw the mask rage right there.
I did quite a few of them in the first year I was in business.
Nice business Kickstarter for sure. Mask designs.
Yeah, I did quite a few of those first year I was in business. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it started. Of course, then they started talking about all these. If you're on unemployment, you're getting all this extra money now.
Yeah.
Well, I had already contacted unemployment at that point.
Yeah.
Because I filed all the necessary paperwork for EIN numbers and taxes and the name for the business. I filed everything. So I had already contacted unemployment at that point and told them stop my unemployment payments because I was starting my own business. Then like a week later, they're like just dumping money in people's laps, And
Hey, good karma. Good karma.
Yeah. I mean, I don't regret. There's only one regret I do have, and it's that I wish I would have decided to do the business sooner.
A lot of people say that.
But it's not like your typical reason to where it just like, oh, if I would have started it 5 years sooner, where would I be now?
Yeah.
As I had mentioned, I lost my mom in 2019.
Yeah.
My mom was a huge supporter of mine. Like she was your typical mom. Like I could go out and do like the worst thing possible, and I could do no wrong in my mom's eyes.
Steal a candy bar from a candy store.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking something more terrible, like kick somebody's tire or something. But no, like she even especially in racing, like she was a big supporter of mine. And unfortunately, she didn't get to see me start my business.
Yeah.
And there's so many, my mom owned her own business.
Okay.
And there's actually, it's amazing when I realize sometimes how many parallels. Because my mom did upholstery work. She redid couches, chairs, vehicle interiors. I find myself today using the exact same tools she used. Tape measures, because I still have all of her stuff.
Okay.
She ordered all of her material by the yard. That's how I order my material.
Yeah.
So there's so many parallels. My dad, my sister both got to see me start my business. They both got to see me be pretty successful with it. But that's my only regret, is that my mom didn't get to see it. I kind of wish if I would have started it 2 years sooner, in 18 rather than 20.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the way it is. My motivation for doing it, it was, I'm tired of paying someone else to do something that I know I could do.
Yeah.
I was tired of making other people rich. But again, like we had talked before, it was a way of challenging myself.
Yeah.
It was a way of seeing if I could do it, not just accepting things for the way they were. So that's kind of how and why things got started. And if my wife wasn't as understanding and forgiving and sometimes just mentally challenged because of what she lets me do, without her, honestly, I do have to say, like, without my wife, there's a lot that I wouldn't have been able to accomplish.
Yeah.
There were days, especially in the first couple years, where I was just like, okay, I'm done. This isn't working out. I can't tell you how many times I gave myself 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Because like I was just so frustrated with things, like in the beginning, something would go wrong. And then the first thing I would think is like, all this money just got wasted on this material. So I'd I'm flipping out and, yelling and honking. And she was always right there, and she always let me do my thing. And then she kind of, give me a minute and then kind of talk to me. And she's been huge in this whole process. She helps a lot, like IT work. She designed our website. She motivated me to do the Facebook thing. We just got BBB accredited, so we're accredited through Better Business Bureau now.
Nice.
They reached out to us, but it was her that kind of pushed me to go for it.
Yeah.
Right. Without her, I don't think I'd be where I am right now. I'd probably still have the business. I'd probably be doing okay, but without her there pushing me and kind of keeping my head on straight and keeping me from blowing up at times.
Flipping out on people.
Without her, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at right now. There's no doubt.
For sure. She wouldn't have fired you.
Right, exactly. Like, exactly. Like, that was her biggest contribution to Lemonhead Graphics. She fired me.
Yeah. Is the ultimate product really just to own your own F1 team or just do graphic design for F1 cars?
Own the F1 team. Now, drive the F1 car.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard it's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I used to race, but I don't think I could handle one of them beasts. So before we do end this, can I just...
Yeah, any shout out?
Want to do some shout outs. Of course, like I said, my wife, Vera, Clark Hammer, KB Blacktop, KB Asphalt, and under rust proofing. James Wilkins, everybody calls him Jimbo, at Galla Ink Tattoo now. One person I did not mention that I do want to get out there. I never know how to refer to her. I don't know whether to say she's a friend, a helper, an employee. Erica Killinger. I met her. She came to me as a customer. Never met her in my life. Her and her husband both, Carl, started coming to me, getting graphics done for race cars. Over that time, we kind of became friends. She threw some hints out about maybe wanting to learn the business. She's helped me out on some huge jobs. Houseboats specifically. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to get the work done that I did. So I want to make sure I give a shout out to her. My aunt, Carol, she's a big supporter of me. I know I'm probably forgetting some people. If I am, just comment your names when this...
Text him and be like, what the heck?
Yeah, just text me and be like, hey, dummy.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I hope I don't cause too much editing here. So.
Nah, it'll be one. Trust me, we've had worse.
So much worse.
Between ourselves. All right, everybody. Thank you back for tuning in to Small Town Johnstown. Again, this is Nick.
Jenny?
And this is Brad from Lemonhead Graphics.
Yep, find us on Facebook.
All right. Have a good day.